Welcome, everybody. We have Brandon Montero here with us. Say hi, Brandon.
How you doing?
And we have Spencer Easton, the man, over here. Say hi.
How's everyone doing today?
Oh man, I hope the answer is that they're doing good. So we're going to talk about how to deal with disappointment, and then I know Spencer had a couple of thoughts. So this is going to be a short podcast. I told Reno, my producer, I said it's going to be 5 minutes, and he was like, "Okay, so it's 25." So we'll see if we can get through this. But I want to ask one of you. So Spencer, what are you excited about in life? And then I want Brandon. I'd like you to talk about something to deal with our listeners, feedback that you've gotten about the podcast, feedback that you've gotten for the trainings we've done, something, some little bright moment of hope, feedback that you've gotten from somebody that we've been serving lately. So let's start with you, Spencer. What are you excited about in life right now?
The topic that we wanted to discuss was how we deal with disappointment. And something that has come up for me, recently, the same for you guys as well. We had a boot camp that was coming up that got canceled. A lot of man hours into it,
Because of
purchasing,
COVID-19.
planning because of COVID-19, right? And really unforeseeable events, and the timeline for the cancellation was really brief, really close to the event. So just kind of a shocker. And I really kind of, got stuck in the mud there for a minute, thinking that in some way I was no longer going to be successful, or the things, that I was putting out there, my pursuits, my efforts weren't meeting with success. For me, what it amounted to was recentering on what my actual goals were versus the end product of my goal versus, what I was making my only end product. So if can I explain what I mean by that just a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
I was thinking about the example of like a processing plant, maybe making some kind of a food item. It's got ingredients that goes into it. It's got the conveyor belt systems, the little bag shooting frosting onto the top of the cookies as they go by, or whatever it is. And all I was thinking of was, this box of cookies as it comes out, being the only thing that I have to be concerned with. But what I really needed to do in this case was go back to the beginning and be like, well, what about my ingredients? How are those things going? Am I checking on my conveyor belts? Are the steps in the process still on track? And so for me, refocusing on, well, what about all of the people that I'm training now? What about all of the different cogs in this, in this machine that we're coming together at the boot camp? I still have plenty of support. I can still support them with information, videos, site visits, professional or personal development, reaching out to them and making sure that they're on track, that their wheels are greased, and that they're moving forward. So just trying to not stay focused on the, viewing my goals or the realization of working on my goals as my entire product, instead of just like one end product, a really narrow view of what makes me successful or what doesn't make me successful.
I think that's really profound, because I was tipped over, as they say, with having it be canceled. And I was so bent out of shape, I didn't even know how to think for the first couple of days there. And then like you said, I was like, well, hold on a minute. What was our purpose here? Our purpose was to develop people. Let's adjust. Let's be nimble. Let's react to this. Let's get this done and keep our focus, which is giving and growth and contribution, right? Which ties into what you were saying, Spencer, a minute ago. Some thoughts that have been on your mind lately about the incremental steps. Why don't you share?
So it's interesting because as the boot camp got canceled, that's around the same time frame. I'm not exactly sure 100% on the time frame, but the same time frame in which the WhatsApp started kind of going around for the field engineers, right? So we're already seeing that amazing growth. And for the same thing we're doing for the field engineers, we're doing with all the scheduling professionals. And we're starting that lean culture of continuous improvement. And while pivoting away from that box of cookies, like Brandon put it, going back to the basics of the ingredients of, okay, what is gonna create those cookies long term? Well, it's those conveyor belts. And if we spend the time to tweak those conveyor belts or maintain those conveyor belts every single day, that's what's going to long term keep those cookies coming, right?
Yep.
So that's been the thing that we've been focusing on, I think, as a group, and that I've been really excited on, is the prospect of progress and continuous progress or continuous improvement through little teeny steps every single day. If you just move the needle just barely every single day over a long period of time, it's exponential.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
You're so spot on. And it's funny, how do you deal with disappointment? Well, I think it's okay. I don't think it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be down. It's okay to be bummed. It's okay to be tipped over. It's okay for that to have not met your expectations, right? We're human beings. I don't think it's healthy to deny those things, right? Sometimes people in my life, they're like, oh, if you had faith, you wouldn't be fearful, or if you had faith, you wouldn't be, upset about this. But I'm human, you know what I mean? I'm upset. I'm tipped over about this, and then putting it back into clarity, like you guys are saying, is why am I doing this, right? What is the purpose? What are the micro actions that are going to get me along my journey? This is just a little, misstep. I'm going to get up. I'm going to recover. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to pray, and I'm going to get on my feet and go to work, right? That's what I'm hearing you guys saying. I think that's a beautiful message. And I hope it's not too far off if I say I'm listening to a book called Talk Like Ted, and they gave a little example, and they had a different point, but they were talking about a presentation that started, okay, imagine a gift. I got this gift, and it's in a little box, and they actually showed a little picture, and it's nicely wrapped, and it has this really pretty bow. And this gift that we're going to reveal to you in a minute, this gift will bring your family together. It'll reacquaint you with long lost friends. This will make you more spiritual in life, and just went on and on and on. And the focus is on the gift. And then in the presentation in the TED Talk, she opened it up and showed a picture of a tumor. And like, okay, there's your plot twist right there. The tumor is, okay, I got cancer, and that's nothing to be lied about. That's a serious thing. Families close together, reacquainted with friends, spiritual blessings, closer to God, fighting through it, summoning personal strength, all of these things, right? I would look at a tumor like, oh my gosh, like I'm so disappointed. My whole life is ruined, right? But some of these things, even if they're just so horrible, can be gifts. And can be something that, even though it doesn't look like it, can help you along the conveyor belt that you mentioned, Spencer, and in the making of the cookies, right, Brandon? And actually, a tumor might be something God uses to make us into good cookies. You know what I mean? That may have been the right ingredient. We're like, nope, I don't want that ingredient, but that might be just what the doctor ordered, right? So any thoughts there?
Yeah, I definitely have some thoughts about that. And what I would say is that what's creating all of the things that you mentioned is that you feel that an end is in sight, and so you fast track what you want to see in your life into a shorter period of time. And it's really common, and we've probably all experienced some of that and seen our families come together in ways that are only repeated in those situations sometimes. But is it possible to fast track our lives for no reason other than that we want to live them fully starting tomorrow or in 5 minutes from now? Or maybe you're doing that already. Of course it is. There's, looking at a picture of a tumor, or just seeing that the end in sight, it's still that you decided in your mind, now I'm going to live like this because I know it's important, and I'm going to just now prioritize that, and I'm going to put full effort into it. You could, of course, do that tomorrow if you chose to, and you don't have to wait until there's an end in sight. And if you didn't wait until there was an end in sight, imagine how much life you would have on that fast track cramming, into every minute, happiness, family, time well spent, feeling, love, and really chasing your pursuits.
Yeah, I love that. Spencer, any thoughts? You just enjoy soaking up the Brandon
I
wi-
I
Brandon
am
wisdom.
soaking up. I am soaking up Brandon's knowledge.
Yeah.
I love listening to Brandon. The only thing that I can probably amen or add to all of it is decide what glasses you want to put on, because just like you brought up earlier, Jason, we're human, and sometimes when we get a tumor or something in our lives that is horrible, a boot camp gets canceled or whatever it is, we decide to put on the glasses of, oh, this is a horrible thing, and you're seeing all the negatives or all the things that that's the light in which you're seeing everything. Those are those lenses. But as soon as we decide to put on the other lenses of, well, let's go to work, let me problem solve, let's figure out how to take this and make it something positive, it's taking off those, okay, I've my emotional glasses or my poop glasses or whatever you want to call them, and putting on the let's get to work glasses and figuring out this is really a blessing in disguise, or I can look at this as a blessing in disguise and grow from it.
I love that. And we promised Reno that this would be 5 minutes. I think we're at like 15. So I'm keeping my my batting average here of having it be 3 times as long. I'll ask you if you have any closing thoughts, but I would just say, Brandon and I were talking the other day about heaven, lean cultures, improvement, progress, learning, development, forgiveness, repentance. This is heaven, right? Service, family, giving, growth, contribution. This is heaven. Teaching at ASU, this is heaven. Lean cultures, that's heaven. We can live heaven on earth right now. And I would just challenge us to think, maybe just me, so that doesn't come across wrong, but without the negative, would we prize the good? If we didn't have disappointment, would the good times be accentuated well enough that they would be as impactful? If we didn't have a mountain to climb, would we live heaven on earth? If we didn't have a hole to climb out of, where's the effort? Where's the struggle? Where's the progress? And so while it's not fun, and I'm not by any means lightening the load of somebody who has cancer or has been through a divorce or anything like that. I haven't been through that. I've lived a very privileged life and a lucky life and a providential life. But I would just challenge us to think, in the soil of adversity, is that not where the fruit or the plants of happiness and heaven grow, right? And so just any closing comments you guys have, and then we'll close this out. And hopefully this has helped somebody in a small measure to learn to deal with disappointment. Actually, I lied. One more thing. Brandon, looking amazing over there with his beard and his decorations, and we just trimmed. And Spencer with his like brilliant mind, and he's not as good looking as Brandon. I didn't want to come out and say that, but like just
We
brilliant.
can't all be Brandon.
Yeah, brilliant mind, lean ideas, fastest, most progressive person on earth. Like, we look like we have it together, right? I've produced on Elevate Construction Podcast, we produced 130 podcasts so far, and lots of videos and lots of training and lots of things, and we probably come off as people that have our act together. I've bought clothes from thrift stores. I've driven old cars. I've had a completely trashy, messy house. I've been through disappointment. I've treated my family like crap. I've yelled at my kids. I've had financial disappointment. I've been through bankruptcy a long time ago. I've offended people. I've been suspended once. Like, we do not, all of us in life, even the most, like if you look at somebody at church, they got a nice suit on, they look perfect. They've been through all the stuff you're going through. And anybody listening to the podcast, everything you've gone through, some of the most darkest, deepest moments that you think of, man or woman have been through, and your heroes, I bet, have been through some of them. And so I think that that's a nice message to think that no matter how well put together you think somebody is, they've been through it. So don't get down on yourself. Learn to deal with disappointment, fail forward, and just win. So any closing comments, and then we're just going to close this out. I did a good job
great.
there. I did a good job. You got it. Okay. Anything, Brandon? Or you in okay, Spencer? Okay.
No.
Well, you know, the vision for this is that everybody is encouraged along their way. Just know that, you know, we get a lot of comments. Producing podcast episodes every day is how do you do that? Well, without guilting you, it's about love. We just love you. We want to be one of the many voices that you hear encouraging you on and saying you can do it. And anybody who says that you can't, not true. You're wrong, or they're wrong. Well, you're wrong if you think you can't do it. You can, and even if you fail, and even if you deal with disappointment, you got this. We're rooting for you. Okay, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.